Hello, my beautiful creatives, and welcome to my art studio. Today I'm going to be playing in my soul book, which I'm really excited about. I haven't done that in a while, and I thought, why not turn the camera on and let you watch? For those of you new to my channel, my name is Chrissie. I am a creativity coach, hoping to empower and inspire you to live a more creative life every day. So this is my soul book. I have been playing in it quite extensively this last week. Mostly playing with my watercolors. If you watch my creative bullet journal, you'll know that I've been doing a lot of watercoloring, and I thought because I'm so in love with this idea, I would play with it today in my soul book and see how it went. And I did do one page before I got on camera, and I love it so much. And I'll show you how I did that. Super easy. There's really no magic to it. It just automatically does it itself. That's one of the beauties I'm loving about watercolor. It's just so amazing. I've also did this little ampersand today. Now this was an ampersand that I had traced a long time ago, and I have never come back to do anything with it yet. I knew I wanted to, I just didn't know how I was going to, and I actually just did a wash with 2 different watercolors and just let them kind of bleed into each other and go light and dark and light and dark. I'm just so in love with this process. So out of curiosity's sake, I thought it might be kind of fun to try using my watercolors. And this is my watercolor palette. This is essentially an assortment of 4 Primacolor watercolor packs, and then some of the Jane Davenport watercolors that were not duplicates. I put those in. This is essentially the watercolor kit that I use, and almost everything in here is a Prima watercolor. All you need is watercolors. I have one good brush that I love using. This is my favorite brush. It is a size 12. It's a Royal Langnickel. I use this a lot. I have a set of these that I use. And off the top of my head, I don't know where the other ones are at, so we're just going to use the one. I also have a jar of water. I have a spray bottle of water, which I'm not sure I'm going to use in my soul book, because if you've been watching my soul book videos at all, you'll know that my soul book is just a very inexpensive sketchbook. So I don't know if using a spray bottle is too much water. I know that sketchbooks don't really work well with water too much. And I've also brought out my Tombow pens. I thought I would play with those a little bit because they react with water and they act like a watercolor. So I thought I would play with all of that. I really don't have a plan, but I thought I'd play. So this is really my experiment to see how watercolors flow on a gessoed page. So I just took some Liquitex gesso, and I took an old, like a hotel key, and then I just scraped a thin layer over my page and let it completely dry. And I'm going to just pick a color. What color should I choose? I don't know. Good question. I have like a pinky purple there. I have no color there. Yeah, let's just pick a color. I haven't done a lot of blues, so let's try some blues. And in my head, I kind of have to decide now. I'm going to put some water on top of my gessoed page just to give my water the ability to move around a little bit. Yeah, again, this is all an experiment. I don't know what it will do. And I could theoretically just spray my page. That would do it as well. But now I've got some water on my page, and I think I'm going to stick with these kind of blue colors over here, especially this. It's kind of like, I don't know, those 2 look very similar to me. This one I think is the one I'm going to use. It looks like a Nantucket blue maybe to me. I don't know. I don't know what the artsy name is for this watercolor. I don't. I just say blue. Blue gray, blue. It's kind of pretty. And I just kind of smoosh it on. Now the first thing I'm noticing with using the gesso in the background is that there's like these little air bubbles that popped up. And that is probably just because the watercolor is not seeping into my paper as soon as it comes into contact with the paper, like it normally does. And I'm just going to keep picking up water, color, and water with my brush, and just kind of letting it do what it wants, just a little bit. I kind of direct it a little bit, but I like having some light colors and dark colors. It ends up looking like you've done something really amazingly hard, and it's not hard at all. Just keep picking up colors. I like to, I have this motion that I do. I kind of do an up and down motion and then a side to side. And I kind of just keep doing that. I don't know, I like it. To me, it feels very artistic, very artistly, very painterly maybe. I don't know. I like it, so I do it. But as you know, I make most of the stuff as I'm going. And what works, I like, stays. And what doesn't work, I don't like, does not stay. So I like some of the watercolor kind of pulling a little bit. I don't know if that's picking up very well. From the angle that I am standing, there's a lot of reflection in the water, so it's a little bit difficult to see, for me to see what is happening. I'm just going to be intuitive about it, not overthink. And I'm just layering the exact same color. I just want to like make sure that I have lights and darks. And I don't have any like predefined shape I'm going for. So I'm going to move my watercolors. Now normally when I'm watercoloring, I let all of this dry naturally. Because I'm doing it on camera, I'm not going to let it dry naturally. I probably will use my heat tool to dry it a little bit. But there's a couple of pockets of water that I can see, and I want to just kind of tip the book to let those colors just kind of flow into each other. And kind of move a little bit. Kind of see what it wants to do on its own. Well, on its own with me tipping it. Now, if you hear any weird noises, I have some construction going on outside of my door, so I apologize. Okay, I know you can't see this very well, but all these little drippages, it's very pretty. Okay, I'm just gonna let that keep doing its thing. Now I'm gonna do the same thing the other side, same color. This time I'm gonna spray though, because I find that it's much faster. I don't know if it'll have the same effect, so we'll see. And again, I'm gonna use the exact same color I used before. See that weird motion? It's kind of up and down and then like zhuzhing. I know zhuzhing is a word. I'm totally using it not the right way, but I like it. And when I need more water, I just dip my brush in. And the reason I like this brush so much is because, one, it does large strokes of color really quickly. And you know me, I'm very impatient. The other thing I really like is that it holds a lot of water. So I can dip my brush into the water and pull basically like a big ball of water up onto my page. At this point, this is just, to me, is the background. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this page yet. I don't really have a plan. But just like before, I'm going to pick up some more blue and kind of keep adding my little strange marks. I like painting with the entire brush. I like painting with the side of the brush like this. I also like painting with the tip of the brush. You can get a lot of different lines in one brush, I'm finding. I love that. Okay, I'm going to let that kind of sit for a minute. I'm going to come back over here. Now at this point, I would be thinking maybe it's time to add another color. I'm not sure what color to add. Let me move this page just a little bit, see if I can get anything. It's not quite as puddly as I had the first page. But there's still some movement. I don't know if you see all that happening there and up here. I really do try to not let it run off the page though. Okay, I'm going to take a moment. Actually, no, I don't want to dry anything because if I add another color, one of the awesome things about watercolors, you add another color, the colors start to like mix and intermingle on your page. And right now my favorite color combination is blue and purple, which is really kind of bizarre because I'm not a blue and purple kind of girl normally. I'm going to choose this color here, which is that one there. And let's see what it does. Not sure where I'm going to put it exactly, but I am going to mix it a little bit on the page. And let's see if I can catch it before it all drips into the corner there. And I'm going to do a lot more of that, like that scribbly up and down, side to side motion. Very loose, very flowy, because I love that so much. This is like my new favorite. How did I not know that this existed, watercolors? I've been an acrylic girl my whole artistic career. Just add some water, see if I can get that color to drip down just a little bit. Because I love it, and I love it blending with my blue, but I want it to blend a little more purposefully. A little more vibrant. So I'm just going to keep tipping my book in different directions. And give me just a second. I know that you can't see that, but give me a second and you will see what I'm doing. Because I love it. See? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So much visual texture, and there's really no like texture there, which I love. Just adding a little more water. I'm finding that it looks like when you add water on top of this, because the background is gessoed, it kind of picks the color up and moves it and kind of cleans the gesso off. So you end up with like this cool white bubble around the color, which is kind of cool. And honestly, today is the first day I've ever worked doing watercolor in such a large book. I'm usually working in either a traveler's notebook or in my bullet journal, which is a Leuchtturm 1917 or 1817, whatever it is. And they're much smaller than this. So I'm sticking to one page versus the other just because doing both at once seems a little bit daunting, and I don't want the page to get away from me. Although this is all play and it is my soul book, so I can do whatever I want in here, and it shouldn't be that big a deal, but I still want to like it. Okay, so I'm going to leave that side alone for now. I'm going to do this side, and I'm just going to kind of let this dry a little bit. And I may come back and add a third color. I don't know. Don't know. Get some more of that purple. I loaded my brush up first. And since I have a big kind of piece of purple here, I'm going to kind of do the same thing, but just lower. And I want to kind of mix the colors together, which, because the gesso is on the background, that is working so well. I'm going to take my purple way over here. I like these streaks of like purple and blue and pink. That would be cool if they'd stuck around. I like it, and I'm a little afraid to touch it because I don't want to mess it. But because it's me, I'm gonna. Now what? I kind of want to balance it over here a little bit. Honestly, I'm not really thinking too much about like composition or anything. I'm just really wanting it to feel balanced to my little eye. And I'm just dipping into the purple and just using just the tippy top of the brush. And you can see the motion I'm doing. It's kind of like swish, 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 swish. Adding some water to do some blending. Washing my brush a little bit. What I mean about the little white spots. It almost looks like an alcohol technique. which I've seen before, never tried. I should probably try that though, because that would be fun. Okay, so now I'm going to dry this. I'm going to use my heat tool, which I don't normally do, and I'm going to dry this. Okay, so I'm back, and it is mostly dry. It's not completely dry. There's a couple of wet spots down here, but this is mostly dry, and this side looks very like messy, and this side looks a little bit washed out a little bit. So I'm going to come back in with my blue, same blue, and just add some more color, I think. So just kind of adding some of that, the lines and whatnot back in. I didn't focus as much on this side to try to make sure that I had some darker areas like I had done on the other side. And honestly, I'm probably not going to do much more on this page today. I am kind of thinking about adding a third color though. And I still am thinking about adding a third color. And let's see, I'm going to do, because blue and red make purple, I'm going to add a pink, like a bright fuchsia-y pink, because in my mind that will go really well together. So I think I'm going to grab that or that. I'm going to grab that one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Grab that one. I've kind of loaded my brush up again, and I'm just going to go for it. And look how it kind of beads up a little bit. That is all gesso. The gesso does that, because it does not normally do that. And I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's pretty cool. I mean, part of the beauty of doing this is letting it kind of do its own thing and blend the way it wants to. And having it kind of bubble up a little bit is really kind of cool. So now I'm going to add a little more water and color and do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to go for it, because I don't really know where I want it. I just know I want the color. And kind of my rationale for how much to put down is blue was my primary color. So it was the main color for my page. So that got put in the most area. The purple was my secondary color. So that was the color I put maybe 2/3 of the area. The pink is my accent color. This is the story I'm telling myself, people. So the pink is my accent color, and I'm going to put it in just 1/3 of the whole thing. And I think I actually love that. I'm not sure how it's going to dry, so we're just going to give it a whirligig. While I'm drying, I really like to kind of lift it up and let some of these little bubbles and puddles kind of move around a little bit. Yeah, so let's just see what happens. Okay, so this is the part where I get impatient, because watercolor takes so long to dry in comparison to acrylic, at least in my opinion. So this is where I'm going to take a paper towel, and I'm just going to blot some of the areas. And just pick up some of the color, so I don't feel like I have so much to dry. I'm going to dry just a little bit more, and I think that I'm going to call this page done for right now, and I'll show you how I did that other page. Okay, now it is completely dry, because I did take the time to actually finish drying it, so I'm super happy with that. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but I think this is going to be a great background. So the other page that I wanted to show you how to do, this is so blinking simple that I felt like I had to show you how to do this, because it's so simple. So what you're going to need is some kind of a texture stamp. I like handwriting stamps generally, so that's what this is. It's just a small handwriting stamp. I used 1 color of watercolor, and I'm going to use a permanent stamp pad, and I believe that this was either a StazOn or an archival, a Ranger archival. So let me look. I'm going to pull out my supplies, and I'll be right back. Okay, so it's starting to feel like I'm having some difficulty finding pages in my soul book to play in, because I've been doing so much in here. But these are the stamps I've chosen, and these are the Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous Reflections collection, which I love, love. It has like numbers, and then it has imagination and curiosity from a dictionary, and it's got some script. So I'm going to use the script, because that is kind of what I do. And I've also chosen a StazOn teal blue. Now I haven't used this blue in a while, so I don't know how juicy it is, but we'll find out. And then I also made sure that the page I chose on both sides was butted up against nothing, because StazOn ink will bleed through these. It doesn't just ghost, it actually bleeds through your page, and that really kind of drives me bananas. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to be, you know me, super scientific about this. All I'm going to do is kind of mush my stamp onto the pad and do a partial print. And then I'm just going to keep doing that over and over again, and I can change directions if I want to. And I don't care if it kind of does a ghost or if it kind of moves a little bit. That's okay, it doesn't matter. For me, this is all about just getting texture down, visual texture, because I love that so much. So I'm just going to keep going. It's kind of a pretty blue. It's kind of, I don't know if it's because my stamp is dirty. Now, I have a tendency not to wash my stamps. Don't be like me, kids. Don't not wash your stamps. But it doesn't bother me. So I think what's happening is some of the black that I've used on this stamp previously is coming off with the blue, which I actually love, because it makes it look kind of like a variegated color. Like I've somehow done it on purpose, which I totally didn't. It was magic. It was totally an accident, but sometimes the most gorgeous accidents create the best pages. I really want one to go across there, and I know it won't, but I want it to anyways. And that's kind of smudgy, but I'm okay with that. Do I want any more? I'm a more is more kind of girl. Have you ever noticed that? I'm a more is more. And that right there is stamping off until it doesn't stamp anymore. That is cleaning my stamps in my world. So I apologize for all of those who are watching who are super avid stamp cleaners. I'm not. Now because I am the most impatient artist, I don't generally wait for that to dry. I just assume it's dry as soon as it's done. And I want to see how much bleeding it did. Look at that! It didn't bleed at all. I wonder if it's because it's either because the stamp is super duper fine, because you kind of see it's ghosted, but it's not bled, or because the ink is really light. So now all I have to do is use the exact same brush I was using before, which is just a 12 round brush. And I'm going to pick a color. I don't know what color to pick. I really am being called to that one. But because it's blue, I'm also being called to that one. But I also kind of like that green too. That green. What if I did that blue or that green and that blue? One of those two. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with this green. Whoops. I just have my watercolor palette sitting off to the side here. And I'm going to choose that green, which, by the way, that green is one of the Jane Davenport colors, that appley green. I love it. Love it. It's amazing. And what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to decide colors based on what I think will complement this tealy blue ink. And since it's such a pretty color, I think it's going to be actually really easy to do. Now this page is not gessoed, so you can see the difference. It just soaks right into the page. There's not a lot of moving it around. Once it's down, it's pretty down. Which is cool too, has its own purposes. Okay, I think I'm ready to wash my brush out, and I'm going to do that really great, that blue right there. It looks like I've never used that one before. How is that possible? Oh, unacceptable. Use your supplies, use your supplies. Now, when I put my color down, I want to overlap some of the color I've already put down. Now, it's not going to mix like it did on the gessoed page, but they will, because they're translucent, they will change to a third color even though you're really only using 2. And I love that. And I try not to think, just put the color down. Don't worry about, oh, am I going to ruin it? Just do it. Just put your brush down. You can see that when I have less water in my brush, the darker the color is, the more pigment is in the color that I lay down. I love how this is kind of turning green right there. I love that. Now, because of who I am and the kind of artist I am, I really want to add pink to this page so bad. But I know my color wheel, and I know that if I add pink to green, it will turn brown. If I add pink to blue, it'll just turn purple. That's not a problem. But I don't want purple necessarily. I want brown. So what I'm going to do to make that happen is I'm going to put a little more color down on the spaces I want the greens and the blues to be more vibrant. And then I'm going to dry those thoroughly, because they will reactivate when I put the pink down just a little bit, but they won't mix as bad as if I just put my pink on right this moment with the underpaint really, really wet. I have no restraint. Can you tell? I have no restraint. So hold on, give me a second. I just love this so much. Okay, let's dry. It's nice and dry. It's a little bit wrinkly, which is fine. I noticed that the gesso page did not get wrinkled. This one did, but I'm okay with that. Remember, this is my soul book. A lot of my pages are wrinkly. They're just gonna get closed. It's all good. I don't mind wrinkly. Wrinkly's okay. So what I'm gonna do, because my little heart desires it, I want that pink right there. Oh, it's that pink right there. It's the bright pink. I'm going to put some of that on my page because I want to. This yellow, blue, and green, or this pink, green, and blue mixture is one of my favorites. I love it so much. Do you see where it comes across the blue there? It turns into purple, and it will turn kind of blue or brown and when it comes across the green. So I'm going to be very mindful of where I'm going to put it because I don't want brown. Purple's fine. Brown, not so much. I don't like brown. Not in this. Let's just keep kind of going across. How's that for simple though, right? You just kind of do it, and there's no real like wrong way to do it. It's as long as you're having fun and at the end of the day you like it, then that's exactly what you should be doing. That is advice that I need to be listening to more often for myself. And I'm not just talking about art people. Okay, just kind of letting that drip in the middle there, which I know no one will see but me, but I will see it and I will like to see it. Let's do some out here. I'm just going to re-wet my page a little bit and then grab some more of that pink, and then I'm just going to put some of that color down and let it kind of move. And because there's water out here, it's very, very light pink, so I'm going to add more color. Kind of goes very fluorescent-y. I love that. I want darker color, so I did not go back into my water. Come this way a little bit with it. And be messy. Messy is good. Messy takes the pressure off of thinking that you have to create a perfect piece of art or something. If this all goes awry and you absolutely hate it, just get your gesso out and cover it out like gigantic whiteout. It's totally cool. Or do something else with it. Cover it with piece of paper. If you hate it, either turn the page or move on. Do something else. There's not a lot you can do to mess up your soul book. It is your soul book after all. And we are not perfect beings. There are some blubs in my soul book. Just like there's some blubs in my real life. Just the way life is. And I'm crossing this green here and it's kind of making me a little nervous, but I'm just gonna go for it. I have no idea what I'm gonna do with this when it's done. That's right, that's usually the way I work. I usually just kind of work in stages. And since I have my watercolor out, I like to do all of that at once because all of the mess is already out. Maybe another day I'll come back and add my washi, and another day I'll come and add photographs. Maybe another day I will just sit while watching television and doodle my little life away in here because that's so much fun. I love that too. Yeah. I'd love to say that that was restraint, but that really wasn't restraint. I'm going to dry this, and I think that that is done. I like this page for now. We're going to see what it looks like later. But for now, let me dry this. So I like it. And the thing I like about watercolor is that it dries just a little bit lighter than you think it does because it's not quite as dark as it was when it was wet. But I really like that. And that's why I try to be really mindful about adding more color in some places and leaving color off on the other places, or like here, just watering down the green. And it's kind of like, I like all the different layers. It looks like I worked really, really hard to do this. And you saw, wasn't that so easy? Anybody can do that. That was not rocket science. All you needed was a stamp, permanent ink, watercolor. Super easy. Not much to mess up on that. So I love that because being in your soul book should be a fun thing. It should not be a stressful thing. And so I love doing backgrounds this way. I've only recently discovered this because of my bullet journal experience, and I will leave a link down to my creative bullet journaling down below. But I hope that you really got some ideas out of this. I absolutely adore it. I think it's super easy, super fun. I like both of those pages, and because of how I art, it'll be really difficult to find that page. Oh, you know what? I wanted to show you one more thing. Can I show you one more thing? Now, I'm very sorry if this video is too long for you. You're more than welcome to stop the video now, and then I will see you next video. However, if you'd like to see one more of my favorite techniques, I'm going to do it over this page. And this is the same thing where I just took random stamps and I used a blue Stays-On pad. And I believe I used this manganese blue, which is my absolute favorite stamp pad to use. I used that and did a whole bunch of stamps down. And the thing that I discovered while I was out and about in the world, were Tombow markers. I love them! So I didn't know this, but they move just like watercolor. They move just like watercolor. Ah! Okay. They're just gorgeous. So I'm going to choose two colors. I'm going to choose a purple and a pink. Maybe that purple and a pink. And believe it or not, these are all in order by number because I'm that kind of a weirdo. But I'm just going to pick two of them. And I'm going to draw circles. Now, this is another one of those super easy pages. No stress, no special talent has to be required to do this. Just take your Tombow marker. I like to use the brush side. I also like to hold it where the brush is kind of flat on the side, depending on what size circles I want. And I really want to just kind of do scribbly circles. And I can do as many or as few as I want. Okay. I also try to vary the size a little bit, although those are kind of the same size. That's not normally how I do it, but it's all right. It's all good. Keep going. Add some pink to this. Can you tell I don't really like mousy pages? I really like bright, vibrant, colorful pages. And I usually do one across. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do one big purple one. And I'm going to do it with the tip first. I know, that looks pretty scary. Trust me, it's going to be nice. I'm going to do one more pink one right there. Okay. Now, set my Tombos aside, caps on. Same exact brush, that's around 12. And I'm going to get a lot of water in my brush. And I'm just going to take my brush and I'm going to run it around all of the purple circles first on the inside and kind of run my brush into the middle. It activates the ink and just kind of sucks it up. Keep adding water. And because it's sitting on top of the pink and the purple, some of the colors will be really purple. Some of the circles will be really purple. Some will be very pink. I love this technique so much because it's so fast and so easy, and there's no way to get it wrong. You just do it. Never used this pink before. And it looks like you were just so artistic and painterly, and people are like, oh, how did you do that? And you're like, you know what? I don't know. I'm so talented. And we all know, don't we? We all know you got some mad skill is what you got. Now, I know that looks kind of dark, and that's because it's poking through on some of my background colors. I'm okay with that. I think that's awesome. Let's dry it and see what it looks like. And obviously I've got some water spots over here that kind of want to drip, so I'm going to let them. I don't have any like drippages over here except right there. So I'm going to dry this. Okay, so I love this so freaking much. At this point, I would add maybe some pencil to grunge it up just a little bit. I kind of have an idea for this page now, but I will have to go get some supplies out of my stash to make this work. So I'll do this on another video. So nothing fancy schmancy. I have a fat pencil and a skinny pencil. And I kind of envision that all of these will be little frames for family pictures or my peeps. Wouldn't that be cool? And then for the final thing I will do is I'll take my Sharpie marker, my watercolor, actually this is a Sharpie oil-based paint. How do I get an oil-based paint? Okay, I honest to God don't know how that happened. That makes me sad. Okay, I have a Molotov. Do you shake this? I don't know. Okay. I have to get kind of crafty here. I'm worried that if I use an oil one, it's going to take forever to dry, so I'm not going to use that. I pulled my white Molotov out, which I don't use this one very often. See, it doesn't really like give me, it's so baby fine, which is fine if that's what I want, but it's not. So what I'm doing is I'm pouncing it down and then circling, letting some ink out, letting some paint out, and then going for it. How's that for an easy background though? So I will either come back and share with you what I did on my backgrounds, or I'll show you as I'm doing them. I don't know, it just kind of depends on when the mood strikes for doing them. A lot of times I'll be sitting on my couch and doing this at nighttime when I'm like watching TV and vegging from a day, because mama has a day sometimes. So that is it. If you stayed till the very end of this video, good on ya. I know that was long, I apologize. But I think that's really fun. I think those are really great techniques. And you know, this Tombow marker one, I think I only owned maybe 5 Tombow markers when I discovered this, and I only had 5 markers with me, so it was so easy to do. You can do it with any color combination. If I did it again, I might not use the purple, it's a little bit dark, but again, I think these would be really great little frames for putting pictures in, or like motivational quotes or inspirational something or other, or even just like journaling things that have happened in my life. Who knows? Who knows how I'll use it, but I hope you enjoyed how to do these different types of backgrounds using different watercolor mediums. If you liked it, please don't forget to thumbs up. If you haven't, you're more than welcome to subscribe and to join the Beautiful Creatives family. I would love to have you join us again, and I look forward to seeing you. I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.